Hi, Reka. Let's take a look at this new set of essays you have submitted. The first one is about shoe sales. Thanks for including the image. That's really helpful. Let's see what you wrote. The bar chart presents a comparison on a most preferred leather colors in 9 different countries across Europe in 2018. This grammatically is incorrect. We have to fix this. According to this data, most of these countries prefer brown leather, except Belgium. The black leather popularity was detected in only 2 countries, and those were Hungary and Italy. Okay. I guess that's fine. Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. One of the reasons why you hear me hesitating is because one of the things you need to remember in task 1 is that you shouldn't include data. In other words, it should give an overall image of what you're looking at without data, because then it stops being an overview and then it becomes a detailed paragraph. So that's partially why I hesitated. I was wondering if this level of detail, you had 2 sentences here, if that could be considered data. And I think it's safe to say no. I mean, it was getting close, but no, I think you're fine. Would I have preferred maybe a little less information, maybe a little less specific information? Yes, I would have. Let's see. So you wrote that most of these countries prefer brown leather except Belgium. I actually don't see that as being accurate. According to the data, most of these countries prefer brown. That's not true, because look at all the countries where black leather is higher. You've got the UK, you've got Belgium, as you mentioned, and Hungary and Italy. Okay, so this too was incorrect. So essentially, you've got an overview that made me worried that it was maybe a little overly detailed. But now looking at it further, it appears that the detail is not so much the problem as the inaccuracy. So you could have said that brown leather shoes by and large were more popular than black. However, the highest number of shoes sold were of black leather. So you could have done something like that, and that would have been accurate. Let's move on, though, okay? So the brown leather, well, careful, we're not talking about percentages. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, okay? So this is also a place where you need to be careful with your data because it's inaccurate data. So the brown leather figures were between 25 and 130, no, 25,000 and 135,000, which provides, or which can provide a mean percentile of, no, a mean figure of 80,000. You don't need to do all this math. That's okay. The 3 highest countries reporting over 100,000 were Eastern European, such as Hungary, Poland, and Germany. The Western European region seems like as slightly below. That's awkward. I don't really know what you're trying to say. The Western European region falls slightly below 100,000. Belgium is represented as an outlier, not outliner, due to a significantly large difference compared to the other countries. It means Belgium is at least 22.5 standard deviation away from me. All right, I'm a little confused about all of this. You're talking about standard deviations. You don't need to go to all this trouble, okay? And I'm also confused why you talked about Belgium and its significantly different compared to other countries. Okay. All right, that's fine. But you really just didn't need to do all of this. First of all, like I said, your data isn't accurate because we're talking about hundreds of thousands, not percentages, okay? And then, because some of these don't make sense, like how can you have 135% of sales? Like that's strange. So, Belgium was an outlier due to significantly large difference to the other countries. You really just need to give us a number. Just say that it recorded approximately 5,000 sales of brown shoes, and that's it. Let's go on though. The black leather report, similar numbers. That doesn't work. The black leather shoes report similar numbers. However, with slightly lower figures compared to brown leather. I don't know what bars means. I have no idea. Oh, you mean from the bar chart? No. Compared to brown leather figures. That's fine. All countries represent on average 75,000 shoes. This isn't particularly helpful, okay? In summary, in 2018, people preferred brown leather over black, especially in the Eastern European region. Okay, so I didn't find this particularly helpful. It's always a good idea to use to group your figures, especially in one like this where you have so much data. You've got 18 pieces, and you really shouldn't mention all of them. But all of this about means and about standard deviations and about averages, it wasn't really helpful. It didn't give us an accurate picture. So, and quite frankly, it's a lot of mathematical effort on your part, and that's not the point of this exam. So, what could you have done instead? Well, let me give you a couple of suggestions. One thing I would have done is I would have started off with the black leather shoes. Why? Well, because it's the highest figure on the chart. So it makes sense to start there. I would probably use these numbers along the side. I would say that three countries showed black leather shoe sales of over 100,000. Specifically, they were Belgium, Italy, and Hungary, with Hungary having the highest shoe sales of all types of the 9 countries. It recorded 140,000 black leather shoe sales. The lowest number of black leather shoe sales were found in France at approximately 35,000. The remaining countries, specifically UK, Germany, Ireland, Holland, and Poland, all had between 60,000 and 100,000 black leather shoe sales. And that's how I would do this paragraph. So this way you know what all the countries are. I've mentioned them by name. I've showed you what my outliers are, these two here, this one here, and then I've just kind of grouped the rest of them together in a way that's meaningful. Okay, and I would do something very similar for my paragraph about brown leather shoes as well. So this is how I think this should be done successfully. It's one of the ways, but it's one way I find really to make it clean and very clear. All right, so traditional food is replacing fast food. No, is being replaced by fast food. Let's see what you said here. Experts are out. Careful with your spelling. That's both, not bought, okay? So experts are out. Both the developing and developed world have debated. Well, this is a little awkward. Have debated traditional food or fast food. What about them? So this isn't really complete. I mean, it would have made sense if you had said something like, have debated the benefits of traditional food over fast food. That would have made sense. But this also brings up another issue. And I'm not entirely sure if you're developing this on topic. Let's look at what the task you're supposed to write on is. It says, in many countries, traditional foods are being replaced by fast food. So this is a given. They are asking us to understand and to accept that fast food is becoming more and more prevalent instead of traditional food. And then the question is, if this trend has a negative effect on these 3 different layers of society. Okay? So that's what's going on here. In any case, let's see how you developed it, because maybe it's just a matter of fixing your introduction a little bit. Let's see what you wrote. This essay will argue that fast food has a significant negative impact on people overall. Has a significant impact on people's '(s) overall physical and mental health, using examples from the the Australian government and WHO to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Again, you have to be careful. Make sure that you're talking about the negative effect on families, on individuals, and society. That's what you need to be talking about. Let's see what you wrote. On the one hand, there is ample evidence home-cooked fresh meals are more nutritious and include fewer additives such as chemicals and preservatives. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, according to the World Health Organization, overconsumption of fast food is one of the most concerning factors impacting millions of people each year. Secondly, the result of consuming low nutritional diet pudding. Okay, that's grammatically, it's not a sentence. You needed to combine these, I think. So secondly, comma, the result, no. Secondly, comma, consuming a diet with low nutritional content is putting a lot of pressure on health organizations due to a rising, with no A, number of health issues. For example, recent empirical research by the Australian government demonstrates that 90% of all heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. All right, this is not a sentence. Let's see. Yeah, you see, there's no verb. Demonstrated what about the heart disease and diabetes? So you have to tell us what? That they were related to fast food consumption. That would make sense, but this on its own is not a sentence. It must not be forgotten that although availability of other harmful substances such as alcohol, cigarettes, and illicit drugs, all right, this is really, really irrelevant. It's not proving your point. In fact, far from it. It's doing the opposite. It's weakening your point. So you really need to get rid of this. So generally, I found a lot of problems with this paragraph. Grammatically, there are issues throughout the paragraph, so it really needs a lot of work. But it's not just that. I want to also talk a little bit about the coherence and cohesion aspect of this, the way you linked your sentences together. So let's analyze each of those sentences. You said that there's evidence that home-cooked meals are better for you. And then you said the reason behind this, so why are home-cooked meals better? Because overconsumption of fast food is a concerning issue. That doesn't make sense. These two things are not related to each other. This sentence, this one here, which is rather long, is not the reason for this. They're unrelated, okay? And then this too is unrelated to this sentence. So I'm finding that you're not using sentences that are related to one another in a logical manner, and this is going to affect your task achievement score. So as I said, the paragraph has some problems. Let's keep going. On the other hand, although there is a case for traditional meal preparation, okay, you don't want an although here, because an although is used with two clauses. In other words, two separate sentences that are joined together. So why don't we get rid of it momentarily? On the other hand, there is a case for traditional meal preparation improving, ing, relationships, s, by bringing people together and opening, ing, conversation. For example, children who eat dinner with their family report, no s, more advanced vocabulary than children who eat elsewhere, in front of the TV or in the car. Careful. You said children who eat dinner, they can still eat fast food with their family. Okay? So again, this is not a logical piece of support. You needed to say children who cooked meals together with their family and ate them have more advanced vocabulary, because that's what this is about. Traditional way of life and cooking, traditional cooking and meals versus fast food. So consistent with this line of thinking is that simply cooking traditional meals involves multitasking, which has a multidimensional benefit on the family and society, such as learning about ingredients and much more. Okay, you just told us that it's multidimensional, but you really just mentioned one dimension. So what else could you have said? You could have said it's a time for family bonding. It's a time for experiential learning. I mean, there were a lot of things you could have said here. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that for modern fast-paced living, comma, people often have limited capacity and time to include cooking, which increases joy. Okay, it's not possible to state beyond doubt because that's not what this was about. Let's see. You didn't talk about that fast-paced living means that people are eating more junk food. Your essay, this paragraph was about something completely different. So we really, really need to work on linking your ideas together more logically. From the arguments S and examples given, I firmly believe that spending more time on cooking has many positive benefits on physical and mental health compared to a fast food diet. It is predicted, okay, it is predicted that the number of obesity, it is predicted, let's try it differently. It is predicted that to decrease the number of obese people, a healthy diet and meal preparation will increasingly grow in importance to begin on an individual level through society and improve worldwide. Okay, so as you can see, Reka, there's issues with this, and I would have to say that they pretty much cover 3 of the 4 criteria. So the problems that I found were with task achievement, with coherence and cohesion, and with grammar. Um, it's a challenging essay to read. There are a lot of errors, and there's not really a logical flow in your ideas. So I absolutely want you to work on that. Take a look again carefully at the template. Uh, Kind of use it to plug your ideas in and make sure that they connect to each other. That'll be very helpful. All right, so keep working, and I'm looking forward to more work from you. Okay, good luck.